pushed. Fire roared inward, burning her hand as she slammed the door. She ran to the window and saw the snow glistening orange a long drop below. Her room was on the second floor, and the land sloped steeply away. In the distance, coming from town, she heard a siren. She returned to the door and touched the knob, as if to check that it hadn't somehow incredibly cooled down. Then, with no other choice, she turned back to the window. "Karen," she said, choking with smoke and panic. There was no time to tie bedsheets together, no time to wait for the Island Volunteer Fire Department. She opened the window and looked down. Height, even this 20-foot height, terrified her. She gulped air, but the smoke was catching up with her. She could jump out the window, she thought, then re-enter the house by the porch door. Climbing over the sill in her white nightgown, she let herself hang against the side of the house. It took forever to summon the power it took to let go. "Don't think about it," she told herself. "You have to do this. Jump. Jump!" Finally, her fingers obeyed. With bare feet, she kicked off. Her eyes were closed. She tried to forget she was falling. A snow-capped yew brush broke her landing, and she rolled a few yards down the hill before she could stop herself. Flames had broken through the bathroom roof, and the west upstairs windows glowed. Sirens screamed down Salt Whistle Raod. Before Anne reached the porch, she heard men shouting, spools creaking as the hoses were unwound. Suddenly, her mind was clear, and a superhuman burst of will propelled her across the yard, across the porch floor. "Stop! Don't go in there!" someone called. Anne glanced over her shoulder at the fire truck and saw a big man running toward her. He towered over everyone, a giant in black rubber coat, Star Wars mask, and yellow fireman's hat. Anne rattled the door. Locked. She let out a cry of panic and frustration. From a nest of dry brown leaves, she grabbed a smooth rock painted with the dark spars of a sailing ship by Anne herself at age 7, and used by the family ever since as a doorstop. Smashing it through a pane of glass, she reached inside to find the deadbolt. "Please, no," the man shouted, running closer. Anne's hand shaking, she glanced back again. He had flipped the mask up, and Anne was shocked to see that his left cheek was melted, like wax on a candlestick. His eyes had battle in them, urgency and alarm. If he wanted to stop her, he was Anne's enemy. Moaning with panic, she groped for the deadbolt. Finding it, she gave it a turn. And then she was inside. Thomas X. Devlin of the Island Volunteer Fire Department stood outside the old house on Salt Whistle Raod, watching black smoke seep through the attic vents. Flames lit the west windows on the second floor. He felt a shiver go down his spine, the way it always did at a fire ground. His skin grafts felt stiff, and he flexed his hands a few times, getting ready to work. Car and truckloads of volunteers were streaming around the marsh, sounding a cacophony of air horns and sirens, a parade of pulsating blue strobe lights. Martin Cole lined up the cherry picker, and Thomas Devlin was reaching for the roof saw when he spied the woman. With her black hair and white nightgown, she was nearly invisible against the snow and night sky. She staggered up the hill, seeming to sway for an instant, before charging onto the porch with the force of a locomotive and the grace of an apparition. Thomas Devlin shouted to her. She glanced over her shoulder, and he bounded off the truck. She was trying the door, searching the porch for something. She was on a rescue mission. He saw it in her eyes. He crossed the yard in 4 strides, his arms out to catch her before she entered the burning house. He called up again, but a patch of ice tripped him up. He stumbled, just missed falling, heard the glass break.